Sluncha, it says we're live. I hope so. Sluncha, how do you do, Buckers? I'm tired, man. It's been a long day. I've had a day, man. I've had a week. I'm just pooped. Anyways, I digress. I decided to have a. I was going to go one direction with a cocktail, and I was going to do one thing, and I changed around and do something else, and I couldn't find one thing I was looking for, so I decided, let's do two martinis to start with. Maybe I'll find the stuff I was looking for later. Anyway, anyway. I just was too tired to really dwell on it, to be honest with you. Anyway, but I did decide to do two dirty martinis. The only thing changes is the product. I'm doing one with rum, one with gin, but from the same distillery. So, anyways, let me check this first here. Let me get something fixed. There we go. Now we're back in business. Anyways, just in case you're not sure, I'm not really in this nice little cabin behind me. Just setting up a mood, man. Just use the backdrop, guys. Anyways, it looks nice, though, doesn't it? I like it. Guess the perspective would be a little bit off. anyways, anyways, I digress. I will have to jump off camera, though, briefly when I start the second martini to go get it, because I wanted to keep it cold. Martini, I don't mind doing having two old fashioned or old fashioned and a Manhattan, because I don't really mind Manhattan warming up a little bit. But a martini, you really need cold. This is the. You set that down for a second. I'm using the Duffy's Run vodka from Restless Spirits out of North Kansas City, Missouri. It's a 90 proof vodka. This stuff is just insanely good. But everything at Restless Spirits is incredible. I love those guys. I got to tell you, man. Small batches distilled 6 times. A good Irishman. I used to buy the Boru vodka, but I can't find it anymore. So I was glad to find this one. Anyway, a good Irishman never shies away from hard work or a stiff drink. Yeah, I did my hard work earlier. Now I'm having a stiff drink. Anyways. And the 57 who laid the tracks of the infamous Duffy's Cut are no exception. They stopped at nothing to complete their treacherous task, and almost 2 centuries later, we've put the same dedication into our hard-working vodka. In every way, it is by the machines and men who kept our nation moving forward. All right. There we go. Let me show you that bottle. I really like this stuff. So I typically favor a vodka martini over gin, but I am starting to find a stride in gin. I have found, though, in all honesty, that I prefer barrel gin. Oh, why am I smelling it? Why are you smelling it, Thomas? Vodka. I did add a little bit of olive juice because I like a dirty martini, and I'm using 2 feta stuffed olives. I was gonna do a uh, I lost where I was going, man. I was gonna do an old fashioned. I thought about doing a Manhattan, but I couldn't find the one ingredient I was looking for. So then I saw this products here for. Then I saw the olives, and I said the martinis will be the easiest things to make right now. I may do another video later. I don't know. I am off tomorrow, so I can stay up a little bit later. But these 2 martinis may take me out because I really am that tired. I really am, man. I'm beat. Oh, my feet were so swollen when I got home tonight, man. Oh, the work is enjoyable though, so I don't mind. Apparently, there's some game or something going on Sunday. Anyways, I got the Super Bowl. I'm in Springfield, Missouri, for those of you that don't know. So it's mostly a Chiefs neck of the woods, and I'm not an anti-Chiefs guy. I'm not necessarily a Chiefs fan, but most of my friends around here are, so I kind of pull with them. I grew up in Southern California. I've always been a Rams fan, so and that's just not going to change. But I will pull for the Chiefs when when the Rams aren't a factor, which they usually aren't. And then the fact that they're playing the 49ers, which is kind of which are, they're kind of, our mortal enemy. You can't be a Rams fan unlike the 49ers. The only caveat to that, in all honesty, is growing up when I did those Montana years, man. I wasn't a Niners fan, but boy, there was something special about watching Joe Montana play. I'm telling you. He didn't have a long career compared to guys like Brady. And so they say, well, he only won 4 Super Bowls. But my answer to that is always, but he didn't lose any. There was something special about Joe Montana. For me, he will always be the GOAT, even though I'm definitely not a San Francisco fan. But there was something special about Joe Montana, man. And that he wasn't an asshat like Tom Brady is. He didn't cheat like Tom Brady did. He wasn't an asshat and he didn't cheat. So for my money, Montana will always be the GOAT. But I guess if you look at specific stats, you can make a case for Brady. But he had a longer career. It's a different era. The truth is, certain quarterbacks seem to get left out of that conversation. I mean, I don't know how you could not put Terry Bradshaw in that conversation, but he doesn't usually come up, and he really should. And it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Some folks look just at the stats, but there's a lot of other things besides stats that should make that decision for you. The era really makes a difference, in my opinion. A lot of the rules have changed to make it easier for quarterbacks these days than it was back in Bradshaw's era, in Montana's era. So I don't know that I will watch the game. I probably will have it on, in all honesty. I just don't take it that seriously, or I don't watch the commercials. Because you have those big Super Bowl commercials that come out. So in the past, when we had both kids in the house, we would do, we do, game food, right? We would, sometimes it'd be little smokies, chili, whatever. We'd have several things, kind of like each quarter have something different, chicken wings. So it's just the wife and I. We probably won't do that, but I do have some chicken wings in the freezer. I'll probably pull out and cook them on Sunday. But I won't do a lot of things like I typically do. Usually like to have chili, and I don't know that I'll make a pot of chili because, like I said, it's just the wife and I. So I'm not going to do, a different thing per quarter like I did when our kids were little. Especially my son Seamus, we would always cook more food than we need because Seamus was really into the cooking thing. Well, let me take that back. He was really into the designing the menu thing, right, and planning the ingredients, and he was great for formulating rubs, seasonings, and sauces. So that was kind of his baby. So it'll be fun. I haven't been invited to a couple places. I don't know that I'll go anywhere because I've got to go to work very early the next morning. So I really won't be drinking. And so if I go to somebody's house, I'm probably going to have a couple beers because they're all drinking, and But if I stay home for the Super Bowl, I won't drink because I'm home. I can run, we'll have some food. I don't necessarily care who wins. I would rather see Kansas City win because San Francisco, mortal enemy, being a Rams fan. Um, but I really don't. I don't have a dog in the fight per se. I wish I had the Monday off to, so I could, really party with some friends. But I have a day off tomorrow, so I'm going to get out and meet a couple friends tomorrow. I went a period of time where I've always kept my circle kind of small. And it's by design, to be honest with you. It's not that I don't like having friends, because I really do like having friends. I just don't have a specific need. Um, and sometimes friends just outgrow each other. People going in different directions. Politics have been very divisive, especially since 2016, the orange turd era. you know so I had certain friends that were fans of ignorance and divisiveness, that supported that asshat. So I never necessarily unfriended on social media or quit being friends with some people, but sometimes you just kind of drift apart. But I'm lucky with the situation I'm in. I have met some well, I don't know if new folks is right. Sometimes it's a reconnection. Folks who we kind of came together. We may have met along the way at one point, but now due to specific circumstances, we've become better friends. So I've got a couple friends I'm going to meet for a couple beers tomorrow. And I haven't had reliable drinking friends in a very long time, so that's kind of nice too. Friends that don't change plans on you last minute, or that kind of thing. I guess I can't speak for everybody, just myself, because I've always been a bit of a loner anyway. I'm that rare combination of extrovert loner, right? I like being around people, but I don't mind being alone either. Sometimes I like being alone around people, right? uh, I know that's not going to make sense to some of you, but there is going to be a few out there going, "Oh, I get that. I really get that." So anyway, I've got this about done. So I'm going to step off camera for just a couple minutes, or hopefully not that long, but for just a little bit, and long enough to get in, grab drink number two, and I'll be right back. All right, Alex, you looked at my snowy cabin there for a minute. I'm back, man. If anybody has any questions or comments, please put it up on the screen. If you'd like to join me, if you want to pour a cocktail and have a drink with me, let me know, and I'll send you the link, typically via Messenger. But anyways, so here's what I got for number two. Again, from Restless Spirits out of North Kansas City, Missouri. This is their Builder's Barrel Finish Gin. This particular gin, made from Midwestern grain, made with rosemary, lavender, and love. It is at, good Lord, my eyes to focus there. My eyes are tired tonight. It's at 92 proof, made with rosemary, lavender, and love. I got to tell you, wow, this gin whew, it is special. This limited production gin is a labor of love from the lab of distiller Benet Shannon. Starting with her award-winning Builder's Botanical Gin, she rested it in uniquely seasoned barrels of her own American malt whiskey and blueberry pomegranate cider. The results are undeniable, purely crafted character, and in the heartland, character runs deep. This stuff, wow. I'm kicking myself for not buying a second bottle of this when I had a chance. because like I said, I'm not really a gin drinker, so I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. But boy, it is good. But then again, having said that, I have tried a lot of gins, and I have become more of a gin drinker than I have ever before. But I do prefer barrel gins. Tomstown has a great one as well. But this one has so many other things going for it. You got the typical botanicals you're going to find in a gin, but then again, rosemary, the lavender, the pomegranate barrel. I mean, there's just so many components going on here. It is absolutely insanely good. And here I've got it as a dirty martini. So again, I've added a little bit of olive juice, the two feta stuffed olives. Why feta, Tom? I like feta. My wife actually found these for me. I've had blue cheese stuffed olives, feta stuffed olives. The last olives were using before were bacon and cheddar stuffed. Obviously, I like cheese, but they don't have to be cheese stuffed. In the past, I've used jalapeno stuffed, garlic stuffed. I like to try stuff different. The only one I won't try are the oh gosh, I just went blank there. The fish they put on pizza. What's that, dear? Anchovy stuffed. I don't go both completely blank. Anchovy stuffed. I won't do anchovy stuff, but I'll do about anything else. The fish they put on pizza. Really tough. I'm tired. I told you I was tired. That was my first alcohol of the day, believe it or not. It's been a long week though. I'm beat. I was not feeling well Thursday. Actually, I had to call in on my day job Thursday because I was just not feeling well at all. I was having some intestinal issues all night long, let's just say, without being graphic. I was having some issues, man. Um, it's feeling a little better today, though. Oh, that's good. This stuff is just insane. Again, I've done martinis with whiskey. I've done martinis with unaged whiskeys or even aged whiskeys. Years ago, I did a version of a dirty martini with wild turkey rare breed. I called it a dirty bird. I bet you've used various Irish whiskey and called it a dirty Irishman. You kind of get the theme there. I guess you can use anything you want. There are folks that will tell you can only do certain things a certain way. Cocktail recipes were not handed down from God to Moses. Do whatever you want, man. Try something different because you never know it's going to work until you try. Some things will work, some won't. But again, you don't know until you try it. So try various combinations till you get to the ones you like. Ah, fuck nuggets and gravy. Man, that is delicious. Yeah, the idea here was to use two products from the same distiller. So I wanted to use these two products from Restless Spirits because I'm a big fan of them, man. Restless Spirits has got some great stuff. I'm mostly a fan of their whiskey. Um, their Gully Town specifically, I had two versions of. This is one of them here. Their Gully Town straight single American malt whiskey. Oh man, this stuff using new charred oak barrels, and they've got another version that uses used charred oak that drinks a lot like an Irish whiskey. A little lighter the pigment. Both are so incredible. I couldn't tell you which one I like more because they're both just amazing. But again, the vodka and the gin are just so great as well, man. I just love everything about that distillery. That my experience there was pretty amazing. The customer service. I had one cocktail. I bought a lot of products, but man, the customer service was just insanely good. I could not say enough great things about Restless Spirits, man. I had a great experience there. How many times are you going to say experience? Tom? I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. How about that? Lighten up, Tom. Anyway, I digress. The first cocktail's working a little bit, as you can see. The first cocktail's kind of that I'm just so freaking tired, man. I'm old. I'm old. I'm old. I'm wearing out. I used to joke in my it's about my mid 30s, and I would joke about having a midlife crisis, you know. And then I became actual midlife, and I would joke about having a midlife crisis. But now I'm way past midlife, so I don't know what kind of crisis I'm having now. Because clearly I'm not going to live to 118. My dad had everything wrong with him and still managed to make it to 76. So I'm always bewildered when I see, especially now, you know, all these years later, because my dad died in 98. I'm always surprised to see, you know, celebrities die younger than my dad. So how does that happen? You've got access to great, you know, medical care. My dad did, and he was reliant on the VA hospitals, which, as most of you know, is, you know, a whole lot of bullshit. But and he still made it to 76 with nothing working. I mean, he smoked for years. He had bad heart, bad lungs. I mean, even the doctors told him he should have been dead 10 years ago. For some reason, he just kept living. And one doctor actually tell him that was going on about how much pain he was in. They said, I can't prescribe you any more pain medicine. You're at the max. So, but I'm in a lot of pain. And the doctor said, well, if you'd have died when you were supposed to, you wouldn't be. That just wouldn't go, man. But yeah, when I see a celebrity 70, 71, 72, 73, unless it was a horrible accident, a car accident or something like, I mean, if it was, you know, I'm thinking, how do celebrities die younger than my dad did, who had everything freaking wrong with him? I can't make that make sense, man. Just with all the advances in medical care since then, you know. But then you look at guys like Willie Nelson and Keith Richards thinking, you know, maybe there is something to doing a lot of drugs. I mean, Willie Nelson's made no secret about his marijuana use. The man's 90 years old. Now you can say, well, Tom, that marijuana isn't going to keep him alive, or isn't it hasn't been keeping him alive, and I couldn't disagree. But obviously, you can't say either that the marijuana is killing him because the man is 90 years old. The marijuana is hurting his health, Tom. How do you know he's 90? I think he's doing okay. He might need to up that marijuana use. Hell, I don't know. Might have been that 70s Acapulco Gold that's keeping him alive. Hell, we don't know that. The 70s Humboldt County, nobody knows. Anyways, I digress. I'm giving away too much of my youth there. The Humboldt County, the Acapulco Gold, the Mexican cess. Oh, man. Anyways, I digress. Drugs are bad. So I'm like, you know, uh, people are loading themselves with pharmaceuticals to stay alive. Who knows that we might do better eliminating every pharmaceutical we have and use something natural like marijuana. And the pharmaceutical industry will never let that happen. Neither will the politicians that are, you know, getting their pockets lined from these corporations. I mean, George Burns talked about having what three? I can't remember if he said 3 martinis or 4 martinis a day and a cigar. The man lived a damn near 100. That clearly there is no one secret to life. You got folks that clearly do everything wrong and live to a specific age, and there are folks that seemingly do everything right and do not. Jim Fix, who was thought to be in incredible health, died very young. So you just never know, do you? guess the point I'm trying to make is, and I'm going a long way around the barn to get there. Like, well, you're going a very long way around that barn, Tom. The point I'm trying to make is, nobody should judge how anybody else lives their life. There are folks that eat healthy, exercise, and still die young. There are folks that seemingly do everything wrong and live to a ripe old age. I think sometimes, like I mentioned, my dad living way past anybody thought he would. I think sometimes it is about will, and then sometimes it's just about luck, and sometimes it's just about, hey, that's just the way things are. Whether you believe in some kind of, supreme being or not, but sometimes it's just the way shit goes. It's just the way it is, man. The way it is, the way it was, the way it shall be. Anyways, I digress. Oh, mercy, that is delicious. Oh, the burp not so much, but the drink was really good. That burp hurt a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. anyways, anyways, I digress. Will I be back? I don't know. I'm gonna wait a few minutes, see how this kicks in. This is my first alcohol of the day. But like I said, I am tired, so it has affected me a little bit different. I have to eat a little bit, and then we'll see how things go from there. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer. Even though the two products I've had tonight are not whiskey, maybe I'll just be the Spirits Whisperer. I don't want to say Martini Whisperer. That sounds a little pretentious. I'll be Tom, the Spirit Whisperer. But that sounds like something else too. We're just going to skip to the end and say all around good guy. Hey, anybody that happened to tune into this tonight, thank you. Sláinte.